Hi y'all, we're gonna introduce ourselves to cell types and structures. So if we look at the level of organization that we find on planet Earth, you would notice that the smallest substance on planet Earth is an atom. Atoms are organized into molecules. We defined what a molecule was earlier in our last unit in biochemistry. Molecules can be organized into macromolecules. So macromolecules such as lipids, carbs, proteins, and nucleic acids, for example. Those macromolecules, if there are large molecules, then those things can be organized into organelles. Now, organelles are essentially mini organs within a cell. A collection of those mini organs, called organelles, creates a cell. And this level is the smallest unit of life. So what I mean by that is anything before cells is not considered living. We do have unicellular organisms on this planet that do function and have all the characteristics of life. So cells is our smallest unit of life. After cells can be organized into tissues. Tissues are collections of cells that do similar tasks. And that is good for now. So cell theory, we talked about the cell theory with our video we watched and our homework, our reading and questions. So the cell theory states that the cell is the basic unit of life. All living things are made of cells. So that could be one-celled organisms called unicellular or multicellular organisms. And all cells must come from pre-existing cells or other cells. And these are the three parts of the cell theory. So we have two types of cells I want to talk to you about right now: eukaryotic and prokaryotic. So eukaryotic cells have said to derive from prokaryotic cells. There is a theory called the endosymbiotic theory. The endosymbiotic theory is a theory that way back when, in ancient times, a cell ate another cell, and instead of killing that cell, the cell ended up becoming a worker for that cell. That is what the mitochondria has said to be derived from, is a prokaryotic precursor. So prokaryotics are our bacteria that have ruled the world for billions of years, and they are mostly unicellular. Prokaryotic has no nucleus. So no is a way to remember it. So the nucleus is not present in a prokaryote. The DNA is in fact free-floating. So you can see a prokaryote over here. You notice that it is not organized in a nucleus. There is no nucleus. It's just a nucleoid region, which is a region of free-floating DNA inside the prokaryote. The prokaryote also does not have any membrane-bound organelles. So this prokaryotic cell, or just a prokaryote, it's very basic, okay? They're very small, up to 5 micrometers in size. An example is a bacteria. Bacteria are an example of a prokaryote. On the flip side, eukaryotes said to have arrived much later in the evolutionary time period. And you can see eukaryotes are much more involved. They are much more organized. So they have a nucleus. It's a very nice protection of DNA. A nucleolus. They have these things called endoplasmic reticulums surrounding the nuclei. We have these mitochondria, ribosomes that make proteins, Golgi apparatus or Golgi bodies, versus a prokaryote that has a couple of these organelles, but they are not membrane bound. Okay, so the membrane is like an outer flexible barrier. It's around each cell on the outside part called the cell membrane. And even prokaryotes have an extra special layer called a cell wall, or even a sugar coating to help them stick to certain things. So eukaryote, let's say that they have DNA inside a nucleus. They are mostly multicellular. They do have membrane-bound organelles, and they are up to 100 micrometers in size. So plant and animal cells are an example of eukaryotes. So you have a compare and contrast. Okay, so prokaryotes alone on this side, eukaryotes alone on this side, and then this is where they both share. What do all cells have in the middle? Okay. You can even include a cell wall if you'd like to indicate the cell wall that's shared by two different types of cell types. You can do that one too. So I want you to finish this up for me. Over here is pictures, microscope pictures of our prokaryote versus eukaryote. Okay, so here's our prokaryote. You can totally tell because it looks kind of like bacteria. It has a tail, we call it a flagella. A flagella is going to help propel us, our bacteria around. Okay. Prokaryotes versus eukaryotes. So here's our eukaryotic cells. We have a plant cell. You can tell because it is boxy. It's got a cell wall around it, and it's got these special features called chloroplasts. And this is an animal cell. You can tell that this is the nucleus in the middle. Okay, so this compare and contrast is prokaryotics versus eukaryotics. But down here, this is plant and versus animal cells. So this one you might need to do a little research using the e-text, using the interactivity, using the types of cells, structures, activity I have planned for you. There's a lot of resources you can use to fill out this Venn diagram, but you also have these pictures too. Okay, plant versus animal cells. All right. So an organelle is a specialized structure within a cell. So this paragraph tells you the basic definition of a few of those organelles that I want you to be familiar with. It says watch the video linked here. I'm going to link it to my page as well if for some reason you can't click on this. Oh, you can. So please make sure you pause my video and watch the video here. And then you're going to describe how each organelle helps a cell defend against a virus. So a virus is attacking. How would they defend the cell? What are they going to do? And then you're going to take a look at these microscopic images of these cells and tell me, is it a plant or animal cell, and how do you know? Thanks for watching. See you later.